Imagine everything you love about the hobby in the palm of your hand. An entire store at your fingertips. Everything you need to know about cards is within your grasp. Unlock the secrets of the hobby. Plus, so much more. You don't have to imagine anymore. It's here. Card Ladder. Get the app today.
What's up, guys? Early indeed. Early indeed. I've got a reason for that, too. Let me bring Josh in here. Catching the end of this Mavs game. The reason why I'm early is because Instagram sometimes doesn't let me go live right away. I'll have to sit there and tap the button for minutes at a time. Last week I had to tap it for like 10 minutes. So I started tapping the button 5 minutes ago, and I'm finally live now. 5 minutes early. So, God, I don't even know if I want to watch the end of this game. What's going on, Drake? Sierra? Hello, all. I have a mail day. I don't want to show it when there's only 27 people on here, though. Just let the room fill up a little bit, I suppose. What's everybody up to? Everybody on Clubhouse yet? I used up all my invites, but hopefully they replenish it soon. But if anybody needs a Clubhouse invite, I know people who have them as well. Hopefully my supply will get replenished soon. What's going on, Trey? Trey Acorn. Kobe East Coast, what's up? Good. Good to see you on Clubhouse. Black Jaded Wolf. Nice when a legend graces the chat with her presence. Stacking gems. David. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm watching the Knicks game, James. I do sleep, but I sleep at hours during which no one would notice my absence. Oh, good. Drake has some Clubhouse invites. Drake's _PC. Maybe Drake can get you guys on there. Yep, early start. I know it's unusual for us to be early here. What's up, Card Shop Dad? Putnam Cards chiming in. Also, Putnam has a new podcast out with Shay. So please, everybody, check that out as we wait for Josh to come on. This is not Josh's fault. I'm just super early. Nines are fine since I'm on Clubhouse, but I'm not seeing all these day and night rooms. Follow me. And then when you follow me, scroll down to the bottom of my profile, and you'll see a list of all the clubs that I'm a part of, and then follow those clubs. And just kind of start following the people in those clubs. There are definitely sports card related rooms all the time, but sometimes they're not properly titled, and sometimes they're not made within a group the way that they should be. So, but follow me and follow other people, and you'll find your way. Shane, who says he has 2 invites as well. What's going on, guys? Just waiting for Josh to get on here. Don't want to blow any contents before he does. Sure, no problem. Card Porn says Vegas Dave just Vegas Dave just started a live stream to compete with us. Yeah, good luck, Vegas Dave. I don't know if you can hang with us, man. Good. That's what you're supposed to do. Just follow follow some of the people on fire. Follow Carvin. Carvin is very active on Clubhouse. If you follow Carvin, you'll know when all the rooms are going on because he's in most of them. Jordan says Josh is secretly listening to DMX and chugging White Claws and barking at people. You might not be far off with that. You might not be far off with that at all. Julius Randle has 41 points on 29 shots. That's pretty darn good. There he is. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's up? I knew that was gonna happen.
Better this way than the other way, though, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hang on. I got all my questions loaded up. I just need to throw them into the notepad file. Did you have any mail days this week, man?
I do have one.
Nice. Let's go. Boom. Beautiful card.
2004 Topps Chrome Gold Fitzgerald. So these are numbered to 279, which is kind of awkward, but this was actually a Topps uncirculated.
Okay.
You know, where the sticker, and it took me like 10 minutes to get it out of this thing. Busted it out because it's a pop 3 PSA 10, and look at that centering.
Nice.
So I think they probably bust you on their X Fractors are known for like their refractor lines, and they'll ding you on those. So there's like a slight one here. You can't really see, but hopefully PSA 10. It's like 30 or so graded, and it's only a pop 3, so it's hard to get 10s. So wish me luck.
Good luck. Good luck. Maybe you can slide it into one of Nat's orders.
For the low price of $300.
Wow.
I paid $1,000 for this, and it's going to cost me $300 to grade it.
But you're still grading it though, because the upside's there, right?
I mean, if it's a pop 3, if it gets a 10, definitely worth it.
Yeah. Big time worth it. All right, I'll do my mail day quickly. This is 2018 Spectra Gold Vinyl, Christian McCaffrey, 1 of 1. Really cool card. Spectra are thicker cards, which I don't love, but that's okay. Cool looking card of the man himself. Every time I go on eBay, I end up spending a couple $100 on a sweet McCaffrey card. So, and then I have a second mail day. I got a book. Inside the Head of a Collector, Neuropsychological Forces at Play by Shirley Mueller, MD. And the book actually looks really nice. Like, it's got pretty pictures, lots of references, which I love because there's plenty of further reading after each chapter if you're so inclined. Oh, I see her reference there is herself. But anyway, yes, looking forward to digging into that book.
You would buy that.
Getting back to my academic roots.
Nice. That's probably a pretty good read, actually. Learning more about the mind of a collector is cool.
Agree. Totally agree. Spending that stimulus money. Yes, indeed. Okay. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to the crossover. Today is April 16th, 2021. And brand new Sports Cards Culture episode just came out. Check that out. Let's talk about some of the new features that Card Ladder has added. So, Josh, what do you got here, man? Because you have made some serious upgrades to the collection feature this week.
Yeah, so I've been focused on collection for a couple of weeks. First, I broke up the cards and the stats in 2 different tabs so you can get more on your screen. It always annoyed me that the cards were kind of cut off and at the bottom of the screen, so I moved the graphs and such over to stats, and that also allowed me to have more space to add more things to stats. So we added pie charts to break down the percentage and breakdowns of players in your collection, and also category, whether that's basketball, baseball. So it kind of gives you a nice overview of where you're spending your money, and if the diversity of your collection is off, and you want to adjust or whatever decisions you want to make. And then my favorite part is the graph now represents the all-time investment and value of your collection going back to the day that you first purchased a card. So before we were just tracking the daily value of your card from when you signed up with the product, and now we're tracking it backwards to when you first bought it. So just make sure you're setting the dates on your cards in your collection properly, the day you purchased it, sold it, and then it'll automatically handle all that for you and track the value going backwards. And it's tracking the value through multipliers if you have them set up. And it's using real sales as the true current value going backwards. And if it can't find a sale, it's using an estimated value between purchase price that you set the date for and then the current value today. And so it'll always come up with some sort of value for each given day, but it is attempting to use real sales instead of, algorithms.
Very powerful feature. I believe that is the first of its kind in the hobby ever. And certainly not Card Ladder's first, but just another first of many. Great work.
I've been getting a lot of messages that people's collection values are going down, because the market's down right now.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. It is my fault that your values are going down.
Look, your collection may be going down, but now you have a much more colorful, beautiful way to look at it.
We need more red to signify the downward. Oh, we also made the left nav shrinkable. It gives you more room to look at more stats, more data. This thing kind of gets out of your way now.
Yeah.
If you hover over, it'll show you what the tab is still. So more space, more data.
That's beautiful. Beautiful work. Lots of kudos to you in the chat. Well deserved. It's just a very powerful feature suite that My Collection tool is. Okay. Oh, I need to do one more mail day. I forgot to do. I'll do it very quickly. I already posted it to Instagram, but Carvin Chung sent me his Allen and Ginter card, and from the 2015 Ginter, I believe, a Canadian card father, Carvin, is an industry vet of 25 years. Really cool back caption, and then it has an inscription that says, "To Chris, the ultimate MJ collector." Thank you, Carvin, for that mail day, my friend. And let me show two McCaffrey one-of-ones because the other one was my mail day last week. All right, let's get into tonight's content. So, up first, the great exquisite collector Tim says, "Man, I might not catch the crossover live. Should I hop on to Clubhouse even if I missed crossover and not understand half of what's going on?" Yes, Tim, you should, because the crossover is a different experience from the Clubhouse after party. Here's how we're doing the Clubhouse after party, guys. The Clubhouse after party works like this. We bring up one person at a time to chat with us, and they can introduce any topic that they wish, ask us a question, whatever. Maybe we'll do something new. Maybe we'll ask them a question. I don't know. We'll figure out something, but we're trying to do one-on-one interactions modeled after the way that NBA reporters are hosting rooms on Locker Room. So come join us for the after party on Clubhouse. It's a very different experience. And thank you to Drake and others in the chat who are taking care of getting people invites. So yes, Tim, you should, even though you won't hear this because you're not watching, but yes, you still should. Okay. David Riverfront Collectibles says, "Would you guys ever do some sort of contest where the winner would get to choose 10 cards to be added to Card Ladder?" What do you think about that idea? I kind of like it.
That's a great idea.
What do you guys in the chat think? Is it worth the effort to do a contest? Let us know. All right. Next.
Something about like sharing Card Ladder. If you share it or something, then you're entered into a drawing for, I don't know. I'm not good at the giveaway stuff, but something like that.
That's a good idea. It's a really good idea. All right. People in the chat are saying yes. Okay. We'll look into that. Scout Dude, my man, says, please discuss the fact that there's seemingly more and more theft going on.
Ugh.
Theft going on. What's up, by the way, Nick, Michael Jordan, PSA 10. So, what theft are people talking about? I know of a few instances. There was a shop that was broken into, where somebody reached across the counter and took a National Treasures box. There was another post that I just saw. Here, let me pull it up. Just saw this post here. Says $20,000 worth of sports cards stolen from a hobby store in Maine. Then there's a list of the items stolen. Includes basketball boxes, football boxes, baseball boxes. This was reported by Card Stock Market, hobby store in Maine called J&R Cards. So there's two instances of theft. Alamo Card Collector says crime was up during COVID. So yeah, I think people want to talk, maybe vent a little bit about some of this thievery going on. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it sucks, man. It really sucks. It sucks more because those two instances you showed are small businesses. Like, these people depend on every bit of product they can get their hands on, and we know how hard it is to get product for some of those guys with the stuff that Panini's doing and all the distributors and all that whole drama. So for them, this is, their livelihood. I wouldn't feel as bad if it was Walmart or Target. This is like people's small businesses. This is what they rely on to feed their families and stuff. So it really sucks. And, we got to do whatever we can to try to stop this and hold each other accountable to this kind of garbage and call people out, which I think the community is attempting to do. Obviously, the community wants this to go away and be solved. It's just that, the more money that comes in, the more this kind of crap seems to be happening. I'm not sure I have a good solution other than share that stuff as much as you can, be on high alert, and, help protect your fellow collector and your fellow man. And if you see something, speak up.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, but it's not unique to the sports card industry. That's for damn sure. Matter of fact, we might even consider ourselves lucky for the relatively low incidence of crime that we see, and that we do rally together as a community when one of these heinous acts takes place, and it makes us all get on high alert, as we should be. But I don't know what we can do to help solve this. I don't know if there is anything we can do. All right. Card Shop Dad says, what's more exciting, seeing one of your big saved searches pop up on eBay or getting a mail day? And at first I was like, what? That's not close. But actually, it is kind of close. Which way are you leaning on this one?
I'm going to save search.
Okay, see, it took me some thinking, but I was like, that might actually be better.
So there's like 3 or 4 cards where if they showed up on my save search, I would leave the room of wherever I was to go to a private room with no sound, close the door, and like figure out how to get this. I would make the offer if it was the best offer. I'd be DMing the guy through messages. If there's an auction, I'd be plotting what I was going to bid and getting my snipes ready and figuring out, comps. And I really like that process of finding something on eBay that you don't see, especially like when I'm in the middle of collecting something and I'm really after. Like if the Julio Jones PSA 10 contenders popped up, I'd freak out. So, and the mail day is like, it's coming, right? It's a little bit more. It's more known. You're like expecting it, whereas the save search is a nice surprise.
Suppose that's true. It reminds me of about 3 years ago, maybe two or 3 years ago. I was away from home, and I was at a grocery store with Christina, and this exact situation happened. A grail of mine at the time popped up on my eBay saved searches, and I saw it. And Christina and I were kind of walking around the store together, picking out groceries together. And I just immediately walked to a corner of the store, started DMing the owner of the card. I actually corresponded with him over a period of like 20 minutes. Actually, because the seller happened to be in the same town that I was in at that time, I set up an in-person deal that took place like 2 days later. Because
Left the groceries in the cart and walked out.
and
Melting everywhere.
You have to act fast. You really have to act fast because you never know who else is angling and making moves and trying to swoop the card, and
Yep.
you gotta move quick. So, but it's interesting because what does it say? What does it say that do we like the hunt more than the result? Is that what this says?
You said that your favorite part of cards was like the moment before you open in the mail day.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
You don't even have the card yet then either.
That's true. That's true.
I'm picturing you guys running out of the grocery store, leaving your shopping cart, and ice cream melting all over the floor. Frozen pizza thawing right there in the middle of the store.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Yamwax says the worst is the save search where the result sells before you open it. Yeah.
Oh. You know what's really pissing me off about save searches right now, and this is my own fault because I'm lazy and I keep forgetting to do it. I have like a bunch of autograph ones set up, and I'm getting so many fucking reprints that I'm gonna kill someone.
Yep, the reprints are another side effect of the expanding industry for sure. People looking to advertise.
There are so many. It's seriously like 100 a day. Like half of my feed is reprints. Like what in the world? Who would buy these things? They're just they're paper drawings of this. It's like a printout.
Yeah, that's awful.
If I wanted a copy of something, I would just get into Top Shot.
Yeah, right, exactly. We want the real thing over here. Okay. Next topic. We have three somewhat related that I'm going to cluster together. The first one comes from C Rhymes 23 Chase. He says, please discuss the Heritage auction. Dormant Stash says, the 86 Fleer MJ seems to be sinking in value. Will this be a 100K card in a few months? It's currently just about 400.
Wow.
And Eric J. Chua says, the Jordan 57, what's the bottom? So let me bring up the Heritage auction that happened yesterday. Here it is. I'll just talk about some of the top line sales here. Price highest first. Okay, so this was the big headline from the auction. Was this card? This is
nice.
2000 Upper Deck Michael Jordan Kobe Bryant Game Jerseys Combo 2 BGS 8.5 Auto 10. This card sold for $516,000.
Wow.
With the buyer's premium included.
Wow.
I didn't know very much about this card at all. So let me see if I can just glean something here from the description.
It's probably like the first dual, like jersey auto.
Exactly. Kobe and MJ now share a space upon one of the most important and desirable trading cards of the past quarter century, the crown jewel of 2000-2001 Upper Deck Game Jersey Edition, the first issue in the hobby to offer dual swatch auto cards. So it's the first dual swatch auto card. It is the single most desirable card one could pull from the issue, and is considered the, quote, godfather of dual swatch auto cards. It's also the iconic pair's first joint signing of any card.
Cool.
Yeah. So that is a huge sale. Dude, if I saw that card sitting on the, no offense to anybody who likes this card, this is said in total jest, but if I saw this card sitting on a table at a show and it had a sticker for 20K on it, it wouldn't shock me. But understanding the history of it and the fact that it's the first, it's many firsts, the first dual swatch card, the first Card signed by both of these guys together. It's in the solid grade of BGS 8.5, which, if memory serves, these early 2000s Upper Deck cards are very condition sensitive. It's a great looking card. That's a $500,000 card, folks. So congrats to the seller, to the buyer.
What's that? What'd that make my cards worth?
I don't know, man. that might be a unique situation. Another big sale, but not so. Okay, so that last card, I think we could safely say, ended quite high. This one ended kind of low relative to where people thought it would end. This is the 93 SP Foil Jeter PSA 10. This card sold for $468,000. Let me pull up its profile on Card Ladder.
180 last sale.
180? Okay.
No, sorry. Last sale was 470, and we have a predicted value of 580.
Yeah. So it came under the prediction. Maybe that's just because what card is it? The PSA 9 that we're using for the prediction.
Yes.
Yeah. So the PSA 9 sells all the time. So you could say the PSA 10 underperformed here. Probably. Historically speaking, it underperformed here. What's the pop on the PSA 10, man?
21.
21? I mean, man, that's a rare card. It's a rare card. What do you think about the price of this one?
I mean, it came under predicted relative to like what the 9 is doing, and the 9 has shot up a lot. It's kind of a boring card, you know. It's like, I don't know. I mean, the market cap is still 12 million. It still has gone since March of 2020. It's gone from 140,000 to, you know, what did you say it sold for? 400,000?
468.
Yeah, I mean, so like, woe is me, right?
Yeah, fair point. Next card, the third highest selling card in this auction was a PSA 10 copy of the 86 Fleer Jordan. Seems to not have 50-50 left-right centering. The right border seems to be a little big. Mm-hmm. This card closed for $408,000, including the $408,000, including the buyer's premium, which I think is the lowest that card has sold for in at least a few months. Yeah, it's the previous sale was $480, before that $420, so it's been kind of trending towards 400 now for a little while, down from its high of 720. So getting closer to 400 still. Again, from January, just January 3rd, it sold for 222. It's still up, you know, 80% since then. So yeah. So but 408 for the Fleer PSA 10. Then we have a Top Shot. A Top Shot sold for $387,000. 2020 LeBron James Top Shot Series 1, numbered to 59. Can you click on it and can you watch it? We can all have it right now. Yeah, let's all make ourselves $400,000 richer very quickly here. Oh no, it won't let me pull up the video description. Maybe if I click here. Probably because the seller can't withdraw funds, so he has to sell it through an auction house. Yeah, it's definitely not. Here we go. View the Top Shot. It's definitely a preferable way to sell, in my opinion. Here we go, guys. You all bought it for 400. Oh man, this is great. Hold on a second here. Oh, it's the mini-me dunk. Oh, hey, look how big he is there. They could have made it so awesome. Look how big he is. I feel myself getting richer just watching this. What's the print on that? The serial number? So this one is the legendary parallel numbered to 59. So let me get this straight. There's more than this one, right? More than the 59, there's other ones? I think that's right. What is the difference? Maybe that artwork looks different. I don't know. It's the same play, you know. The elaborately, exquisitely titled Dunk. Why doesn't it say Kobe Bryant tribute dunk? Right? It should. You know, it should.
If I'm paying 400 grand for a video, I want it to say something cooler than dunk.
If I'm paying 400 grand for a video, commit me immediately.
Dude, yeet me off this planet if I ever buy a Top Shot.
All right, so that Top Shot sold for 387,000, and those were pretty much the top line sales. This was not a huge auction. Got a Willie Mays PSA 8 for 200, a 86 Fleer box for 186K, Mansell PSA 5. Oh, these two more sales worth quickly touching on. A Henderson PSA 10 Topps rookie did 105K. It had sold for close to 200K this year. So
Cards get pumped so much that then they get cut in half and people get mad.
yeah, only one or two people should be mad. Everybody else who owns that card should still be thrilled.
It's up from September of last year. It sold for 60 grand. It sold $40,000 in the last 7 months for a vintage card, which is supposed to like have steady, slow growth.
Right.
That card sold for 180. Is that what you said? 180 down to 105. Probably because 3 sold in the last 2 months.
Right. What's the population of that card?
25.
Yeah, 25. So, you shouldn't see 3 copies turn over in 3 months or whatever.
But you do when it 10x in value.
Yep. Yes, indeed. And then this one here, last card, the 85 or the 86 Topps Jerry Rice PSA 10 sold for 93,000 today or yesterday with
90. That one peaked at 125.
Okay, so not as big of a step back.
I remember when it sold for 30 and people were really excited. Jerry Rice himself was excited. We were all thinking, man, what a great comp for a Hall of Fame player, one of the best of all time. This is great for the hobby. And then it goes up to 125 out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yes, it does. So
it's just not sustainable. And seeing that stuff come back down is like, it's normal. It's good. So it's just kind of, we just got to accept it. It's just a matter of like how far down, how much further down is it going to go? Is it going to reach what it was, a few months ago? That's the question.
That is the question indeed. All right. So enough of that auction. Cool auction. Some people not pleased that some of these cards have taken a step back. David, okay. So that's the Heritage auction. Let's move on. We took some questions from the Card Ladder Discord group. Let me get to some of those. This is from Susty Stock of the Card Ladder Discord group. Susty Stock. His topic suggestion is how to time the market when it comes to investing in holy grails.
Well, first, shout out to Discord. If you want to chat with us anytime during the day, I'm on Discord. We have a Card Ladder Discord. If you're on the Card Ladder app, we have links on there. Reach out to me. How to time the market on grails? I'm not sure there's a really good answer for that. That's kind of the point of a grail, is that the time is sort of separated from the card, in my opinion. Like, it's sort of like whenever you can get it, even if you can get it. A grail shouldn't be a card that you can get on a time of your own choosing. I feel like it sort of comes up whenever you're least prepared, almost, as the cliche might go. So I don't know that the timing of it necessarily plays into a grail. What do you think?
Magnificent answer. Could not agree more. Grails usually cannot be timed. Well, I don't know. What somebody's definition of a grail varies. It varies. But when you and I talk about grails, we're talking about cards that, by definition, when it appears, that's the time to buy it. Period. You don't get to time those. You wait for them to appear, and then when they do, you make as strong of a push as you can to win it.
I would say if it's a card like we're talking about in the last 20 minutes, where there's a bunch of copies coming to market and it's been pushed up a ton, and you feel like a few more are going to pop up and the price is going to go down, and you've already had the money saved up for the said grail, that might be an instance where you can play some timing and wait a little bit and wait for more copies, or wait for the market to soften, or maybe you wait a year. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about like patience to that degree, which I think is something that should be discussed more, of having patience to wait for something like multiple years, especially if you're going to be in this industry collecting for many years like we are, in decades. Like I have no issue spacing stuff out and kind of like waiting multiple years to get something. I think it just increases the gratification of obtaining that. So maybe a good answer here might just be showing patience and being okay waiting.
Yeah, let me highlight 2 comments and then we'll move on. One from Grant. He says, Waldorf stories. How can you time a grail? People are chasing grails that are just dependent on their pop report now. And Exquisite Collector Tim says, grails by definition are timeless. Good comments there. Okay. Jason C. Go ahead, buddy.
At least I was trying to answer it. Those 2 guys just threw up their arms.
As did I. Okay, Jason C. from Discord says, what are the best ways to scan and take pictures of cards? Once you do have them scanned, how do you organize them? By player, set, grade? What if you sold a card? Does that change how you organize the scans and pictures? That's actually 4 excellent questions. Oh, look at this. Twinning.
How are you? Oh, you got the upgrade there, V600. Look at you.
Didn't mean to V up you there.
You son of a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah, I really like this Epson scanner because what is it? I don't know the term, but it basically like it has depth to it when it scans. So help me out here.
I don't know. That sounds about right.
Yeah, there's like 2 types of scanners. One is like for flat photos, and this one has like more depth to it. You can see like this actually like goes down quite a bit. There's a term for it. Someone can help me, but this is a great scanner. I think it's like you paid like $150?
I don't know. That sounds about right, I think.
Yeah, for Christmas.
And then from there, I upload I scan the front and back. Then I use this software called Pine Tools Merge. And then I pick the front photo, pick the back, I merge them together, and it just sort of like pushes them together left and right. Upload it to Flickr, and then when I'm on Flickr, I might mess with the contrast settings just a bit. Then I label it. I go to Beckett and I search the card and get the label of the card I'm uploading. I put that as the label on the card, and then I categorize by sport. So I have a football album and I have a basketball album. I know that Nat does his categorization by set because he has so many cards that he's able to break it down by set. I would if I had that many cards, but my album is pretty small. Actually, you know what? I'll flex my Flickr.
Yeah, flex the Flickr. Let's go.
And the other thing I do, it's a pro tip for you all. So I have my football Flickr, my basketball Flickr, and my sold Flickr. So whenever I sell something, I move it over to sold so that I can cry whenever I feel like it. If I need a good cry, look at this bad boy. Dang.
So a couple people are asking for you to repeat the name of the website that you were using to merge.
It is pinetools.com, and they have a bunch of tools, and the one that I use is pinetools.com/merge-images.
Got it.
Oh, Chris, look at that one.
Yeah, I know. Ugh.
You're probably not too thrilled about that.
Nah, it was. You had to do what you had to do.
The flashback. These are cool.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Anyways, did I miss anything?
How do people go look at your Flickr? Can they, or is this private?
Nope, it's public. You can just go search my name. I think I got 44 followers on Flickr.
Woo-hoo, big time.
Flexing the Flickr. I was on Flickr right when I started because Nat had one, and his is legendary. Nat Turner's Flickr is it's out of this world. You guys got to go see it. It's like a freaking museum for sports cards. And then a couple LeBron buddies had one, and It's just a nice way. I don't really do it for the flaunting, flexing. It's more for like my own personal organization.
Makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Plus, it's a way to enjoy your cards without having to go retrieve them from the safety deposit box or from the safe or whatever. You know, it's not quite as good, but it is pretty nice. It's a nice way to enjoy.
The Flickr native app on the phone is really good. So like I'll just, I wake up in the morning sometimes and I open my Flickr and scroll through my stuff.
Nice.
You want to know how I keep my collection after I scan it? I put it into Card Ladder under the collection feature, and then I can track it.
It looks nice.
I can see a nice pie chart in my stats now.
We did talk about the collection feature before you came down, but yeah, that's a really nice way to lay them out as well. And this app actually is meant for sports card collection tracking. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. Yeah, you answered all the questions there. Okay. And one more from Discord. Zach Wallbearer asks, where and how do you store your cards? PWCC Vault or at home? What are the pros and cons? And if it's at home, what's the best way to protect them and set them up? Do you need climate control or light control?
Good questions. I would say you first want to figure out how much your cards are worth and, figure out your risk tolerance. Maybe look at your home insurance policies, how much they cover for, fire damage or theft damage. If it's not going to cover it, you're going to need more specific coverage for sports cards if you're going to keep the cards in the house. There's Collect Insure. I've been looking at a couple other companies. I don't have any references just yet, only Collect Insure. But there's different companies that will insure collectibles, jewelry, things like that. So you might want to get an insurance policy for that if you're keeping it at the house. And also those will cover you on shipping and if you take the cards to shows. So there's really good coverage options there. PWCC Vault, I think, is a fantastic option because the prices on how much it costs to store it there, like the insurance, is very reasonable in my opinion. And then you can also, like, at the click of a button, send it to auction, put it up for sale. You basically have the power of PWCC right there. The downside, obviously, is you don't physically have the card with you, so that's kind of a bummer. But their scans are amazing, and you sent me a link. I think they're adding, like, video clips potentially as a new technology to view your own cards. Didn't you send me something like that?
I did. I don't know what context that's for, though, if that's just for cards that go to auction or if that's for cards in the vault. I don't know.
Yeah. But PWCC is a great option. Those are I guess will be the only ones that I can offer up at this moment. Oh, yeah, why don't you talk about safety deposit box then?
It's not thrilling having your cards sitting in a safety deposit box, honestly. They just feel so far away. Like if I wanted to go look at them right now, I couldn't, and that's annoying. But you live with it because what's the other alternative is that, I guess you expose yourself to a little more risk having them at home. So yeah, I just, I do a lot of things with a lot of caution, and safety deposit box is a pretty safe way to go, as the title itself indicates. But it sucks not having your cards in hand. Sucks being subjected to only being able to look at them during a bank's business hours.
Yeah.
But that's how it is with card prices where they are.
He asked about lighting. Yeah, keep them out of the light. Obviously, keep them in boxes at your house or safes or whatever you have at your house. And then you can also do these like silica gel things, which absorb the moisture if you're going to be keeping it inside boxes. I don't know that really will matter in the short term, but if you're keeping there and for long durations and you live in Florida or something, you might want to look at getting silica gel packets to remove the moisture out of the air to prevent any issues with the cards.
Great points. Tim makes a great point too. He says you might still need insurance for your cards if they are in a safety deposit box because the bank may not insure your cards. You're exactly right. I don't think any bank will insure over a certain amount of valuables in the box. So I have full insurance coverage of me and Christina's collection. So we have full coverage. I mean, can't go wrong with a little extra protection. You know, knock on wood, nothing bad ever happens. In the vast majority of cases, nothing bad does ever happen. But since there are ways to protect against risk, such as insurance, might as well avail yourselves of them and sleep a little better at night. All right, next question. This comes from the Shrug MJ23. You can talk about hobby goats in baseball like Ken Griffey and Mike Trout, whose personal achievements superseded their bad teams. And their bad teams very little, if ever, affected their card values. That would not fly in basketball card values where championships matter. What do you think about this?
That's an interesting topic. I mean, the obvious answer is that baseball is less dependent on a single individual, like especially a hitter, where like Mike Trout comes to plate once every 9 times, and he may not even be able to. He won't even have the chance in a lot of cases to come up and make a game-defining hit in the 9th inning. He has like a 1 in 3 shot to even come to the plate in the 9th inning potentially. So I think it's just sort of understood that baseball players just don't have as much of an effect on winning and losing as the other sports, so they kind of given a pass. And baseball has always been seen as like a statistical game. You know, if you're looking at it from the standpoint of an individual or even the team, is like, you know, you want to get a hit once every 3 times. You want to, you know, field your position well, and you want to run the bases well. So it's kind of a more of like a fantasy sports individual statistical game, whereas basketball and football, especially from the quarterback position, are very much focused on winning and losing the game and sort of like the clutch time moments of the guy with the ball in the hands, and is he going to make the winning play or is he going to lose the game? And that's kind of the drama of those sports. So I think that kind of answers that question. And definitely it does not fly in basketball. Just ask my friend Russell Westbrook how that's going.
That's really funny. You'll see why in a second. Let me say that even in football, titles can be overlooked. I'll give you the case in points. Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders won 1 football game in the playoffs over the course of his 10 years with the Detroit Lions. He won 1 playoff game. And Barry Sanders is the most collected running back in football cards. So, no, and, you know, look, I'll probably hear from Walter Payton collectors, Jim Brown collectors, etc. Okay, so maybe he's top 5. Let me walk back my statement. But Barry Sanders is elite in the hobby among running backs, and absolutely no playoff accolades to show for it. So in football, you can overcome the title thing. And I think there's also recognition, too, that in football, players only play one side of the ball. And there are 3 phases to the game, and players usually just participate in one of them. So there's an understanding. There's allowances made for that, which I think matters. Whereas in basketball, you know, you play both sides of the ball, only 5 players on the court at a time for each team. Although I will say in baseball, you know, isn't the pitcher kind of analogous to the quarterback in that they play, you know, a really big part in 1/2 of each quarter or each inning? So,
I mean, but they don't always play. They don't play the full game.
No, they don't.
And they also play every 5 games.
Right, and they don't. That's a good point too. Their pitchers are on rotations. Starting pitchers are.
Even in the playoffs, you only have, you know, your best pitcher will only pitch 2 games of the 7. So like, you know, if the team loses the other games, then it doesn't even matter what he did.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I think basketball though puts too much emphasis on team success. I really do. Yeah. I think, but so some things in the hobby come from organic grassroots. Like sometimes in the hobby, you know, we will identify players or certain, you know, aspects of a sport that we elevate, that we appreciate, that maybe the mainstream sports media doesn't. But for the vast majority of cases, I think it's very much top down in terms of how we in the hobby assess players and how we analyze their achievements. I think it's very much driven by the mainstream media. And as long as NBA fandom and mainstream analysis of the NBA is centered around titles as one of the, or maybe the key metric, not saying that others don't matter, but that it's pretty darn important in the mind of most contemporary analysts. As long as that's the case, I don't see the hobby bucking that and just changing course. But I think it should. I think basketball collecting could take some cues from football and from football and baseball collecting. I think titles are overrated because I think that they come from a point of view that downplays the importance of team. And team in basketball is very important. It always has been. So we could go into the nuances of that. I don't think it's that interesting. But basically, I think there's room for basketball collectors and fans and analysts to start assessing players based on their individual performances and not put so much weight on titles, because after all, Big Shot Bob has got more than any of our favorite players.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I still look at the totality of a player as if I'm gonna collect them. Like they need to hit on a bunch of things for me. They need to be like an exciting player. They need to be marketable. Like they need to be, in the public, I think, because that's how I get to see what they're doing and, feel more like a part of that person's life or attached to that player or whatever. And then they need to be good. Obviously, they need to be consistent, efficient. They need to have durability. They need to be unselfish on the court for me. Like they need to get the team involved and make the game exciting. So there's all these different things. And when it comes to like winning championships, it's obviously for basketball, they play a huge part in that. Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time, and he's got 6 championships, not by accident. LeBron has 4. The greatest players have championships, a lot of them. So it definitely matters, and it definitely, like on the average, the better players are going to have more championships. But I mean, if you're talking about like getting down to it, Are we going to say that like Kawhi Leonard wouldn't be as good if he would have missed that shot against the Sixers? Like if that would have bounced off the rim, is he now a lesser player? No. But we put so much emphasis on those final few shots, and yeah, I don't know. I agree. I think it's a little bit overweight, a little bit too much weight. But it's still definitely in basketball. There's just like the math definitely favors the better players in the long run.
It does. It matters. It historically has mattered. We shouldn't get our hopes up that it won't matter, but we have good blueprints. And somebody pointed out in the chat that Allen Iverson gets some hobby love despite no chips. True. Steve Nash, I'd put into that mix as well. He gets some hobby appreciation as well. All right. So here was the follow-on question. Charles Barkley too. Good point. Good points there. Oz Collector says, is Russell Westbrook ever going to get hobby love, or have we all just become used to him dropping triple doubles every night and he has no rings, so we don't care? So there, you foreshadowed this question. Talk a little bit more about Russ.
I've talked about Russ quite a bit on this show. He, to me, is someone that I think is going to be collectible long term. On the same ilk as Allen Iverson, some of those other guys you just named. Tracy McGrady kind of reminds me of that same kind of thing, where they're very, very exciting. And as you look back on their careers, I think people are going to remember their careers more fondly than they do currently when they're, kind of getting bounced around a little bit and not winning. I don't know. He just like, I think Russell Westbrook is just he'd be a really fun player to collect right now, because you're not dealing with crazy jumps in prices in a lot of cases. And he's got rare stuff. He's got exquisite rookies. He's got a cool rookie year where there's Topps Chrome still, and then he's got cool Panini stuff. And he'd be a fun player to collect regardless. So, don't let his lack of championships stop you from collecting him. If you think he's an exciting player and And I also pointed out like the whole, he kind of started this whole like modern NBA dress thing, whatever you want to call this like fashion trend. And he kind of started that, he was wearing the weird stuff, and a lot of players started jumping into that and having their own clothing lines and personal people that dress them, personally, and they have their own wardrobes and stuff. So, I don't. That's kind of silly to talk about, but I think it kind of plays into his cultural significance in the future.
Great point. Let me point out something as well. Russell Westbrook is averaging a triple-double for, I believe, the 4th time in 5 seasons.
Yep, and the one he did was with James Harden dominating the ball.
Okay, so he's averaging 22, 11, and 11. He is 2nd in the league in assists. The one blemish here is that he is 51st in player efficiency rating. He is usually much higher than that. Maybe that's anomalous. But Russ, hats off to you, sir. I agree. Collecting Russ sounds like fun. Wouldn't be so different from collecting like a skills position player in football, where you wouldn't be so worried about volatility and you could get some freaking awesome cards.
Damn it, you fucking ad. I was going to make a really great screen here, and this stupid ad is in my way. What a fucking...
Oh, that sucks.
All right, look. This is all-time PER ratings. All-time. Not just one season. There's Russell Westbrook. Look at 24.
Who's down there?
Kobe Bryant is at 27. Westbrook 24. Kawhi 23. Dwayne Wade 22. Look who's 1, 2. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Just saying, Jordan is Jordan's got a pretty nice lead on LeBron. So I know that like advanced statistics don't matter as much for collectability, but still he's an all-time great. Whatever you want to say about Westbrook, you can say he's still an all-time great.
He's our Oscar Robertson, man. He was right there. Right, same with Oscar. He's the Big O of our era.
Yeah, and especially in an era of this like kind of super team thing going on. He's definitely been on quite a few of his own super teams with Durant and Harden. He's been on good teams with good players, but he was never quite good enough, or never quite had the the most efficient game to win championships, which is fine. It's like his people won't remember him for winning championships; they'll remember him for other things, and I think that's okay. He's going to be fine. Like his life isn't going to be ruined by this. So I think people need to look past that a bit.
Definitely. South was in the chat asking if we got to his question yet. Let me just get to it right now. South says, South Park Cards, are people so heavily invested in James Harden and Kevin Durant that they have to downplay Kyrie? What do you think about that? I think this question should be answered in the specific instance, and then as a general theory that do people downplay other players just to help emphasize or put a spotlight on their own?
They 100% do that. I myself do it. I can't tell me how many times. Dude, as a LeBron fan, I've used Kyrie Irving as my scapegoat. Are you kidding me?
He's an easy scapegoat, is he not?
One of my easiest arguments is, look, Kyrie Irving won a championship with LeBron, and then he goes to the Celtics, and it's a complete nightmare disaster. The guy can't do anything on his own. So it looks like, and then LeBron leads that same team without Kyrie after he leaves still to the finals. So it really looks pretty nice on LeBron's resume that like he got to the same result with and without Kyrie, and Kyrie on his own did absolutely nothing. So it's an easy card to play for Harden and Durant collectors. I think specifically they are doing it, especially when Kyrie misses games for personal reasons and stuff. It's just an easy target. I don't know. I mean, it would bother me if I was a Nets fan and he just kept sitting out games, and as a fan, it kind of bothers me, especially if I was like paying money to go to these games and I was expecting to see him play and he's just sitting out. So it's definitely an easy target, and it definitely happens.
Yeah. It does. Kyrie, though, I'll just say this on his side. This season, he's averaging 28 points,
Oh,
5 rebounds, 6 assists, and then his PER is 25.65, good for ninth.
wow.
He's having a career year.
There you go.
But that whole team has 3 guys having career years. So.
And none of them have played together. They have 7 games together.
Yes, indeed. Yes, South, this was your question, my friend, the Durant, Harden investors against Kyrie. Oh, yeah, so to put a final note on this one, in general, this happens too. It just does where, for the point of protecting – Josh, you gave the example as more of a sports analysis. But in the context of the narrow context of only the hobby, there is quite a bit of downplaying the other player. But let me say something positive. There was a ripe opportunity, I think, for collectors to downplay Anthony Davis. I downplay Anthony Davis personally. I am still not the highest guy on Anthony Davis, to say the least. But a lot of collectors could have downplayed him quite a bit, and they didn't. They actually were very, they gave a lot of respect to Anthony Davis, and I don't think it mattered one bit to the markets of either player. Both markets did just fine. So, we can often forget, sometimes in the MJ chats, it will come up, oh man, LeBron prices, Kobe prices, the other GOATs are going crazy. What about Jordan? But then there will always be that voice of reason that says, guys, if 2 of the 3 GOATs are going up, the third GOAT will follow. If it's LeBron and Jordan going up, Kobe's probably going to follow. If it's Kobe and Jordan going up, LeBron's probably going to follow. These markets never fall out of sync for too long. Sometimes it can take a while for the market to adjust itself and calibrate. It can take months. It can even take years. But the markets eventually calibrate. The GOATs all get on a similar footing, and equilibrium restores. So if one GOAT is going up, the other GOATs follow. The market sorts itself out. If one GOAT gets too high relative to the other GOATs, there will be some number of people who sell the cards of the high GOAT and get into the lower GOATs until the prices stabilize. So it often is a lot of wasted energy, I think, downplaying in the hobby, downplaying one player in order to prop up another, because in the end, a rising tide lifts all boats. And things reach equilibriums. And so I was just thinking about this example today. So the Luka National Treasures BGS 9 sold for about $150K a month or 2 ago. And then let me compare it to the LeBron Exquisite 8.5 with a sweet patch, which did $1.5 million, which was low. People thought that would go higher. So a 9 to an 8.5 is not a perfect comparison. If the Luka 8.5 wins, I don't know what it would go for, maybe 100, maybe less. So you have to think LeBron is now 15x, Luka, 15x. I took time, took maybe a year, maybe a little more, because sometimes cards don't come out to play, especially really highly desired ones like the LeBron RPA. So it took a little time, but LeBron is now 15x Luka. So the market sorted itself out. They markets sort themselves out. That's all I can say. A rising tide in this hobby lifts all boats. If something's out of whack, it will get back into sync sooner or later.
I think people do is they will upplay somebody to diminish another player. So like people will give too much credit to Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman to attempt to bring Jordan back down to LeBron's level or some other great player, to try to say LeBron might in fact be better than Jordan because Pippen was so great, which is a funny one. Also, PSA to Jordan collectors, calm down out there. I don't know. if there's anybody, any collector of any sport, of any player, of anything that has the least amount of things to worry about, it is Michael Jordan collectors. So
Yep.
you guys don't need to say that your cards are undervalued or that you're better than LeBron or that you need to protect the legacy. Dude, you don't need to do any of that. Just enjoy what you have of Michael Jordan, please, for the love of all that is holy. Just put your head down, be humble about it, enjoy your Michael Jordan collections because there's nothing that can bring it down, in my opinion. It's just like an untouchable thing. He's the most untouchable player of all time in any sport, in my opinion. There's nothing. He has no blemishes on his record. He's got no finals losses, as I'm reminded every day, of course. And it's like every time a Luka card sells for a lot, Michael Jordan collectors start freaking out about, oh my God, how is Luka closing the gap on Michael Jordan? Like, what are you talking about? They're nothing to do with each other. Just relax. Jordan cards always go up. It'll be fine.
Oh, those are great words of wisdom. I'm pissed that those came at the end of an episode. Those should be at the beginning. God, that's so true. Okay.
Chris, Mr. Jordan, you're always bashing on LeBron in our DMs, and it's just you're like, you know what? Matthew Dellavedova was a key piece to that team, and they wouldn't have.
Bro, you are sleeping on Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Big time. Big time.
Dude, Steve Kerr was the one that hit the game-winning shot in that game because Jordan was too scared to shoot it. You know that?
That was just Jordan exercising his LeBron-like assist muscle. Just showing he can do it.
I like how LeBron does it. He passes the Bosch in the corner for a game winner, and LeBron's, scared of the moment. But Jordan passes to Kerr. Oh, what a great team player. He's just, look at this guy. What a distributor, underrated assist man. You guys say he can't pass. Look at that.
Jordan can do no wrong in the eyes of many. The spin machine is in full force.
People posting Jordan videos trying to make him look better this week. It's gives me a good laugh, as if you need that. He's already the best. It's okay.
Yeah, it's often too the arguments that people make for Jordan on social media are so simplistic too. It's like, if you're gonna talk about it, tell me something I didn't know. Bring up a unique stat. Teach me something. Don't just go back to the old trite 6-0 thing. Tell me something new. Tell me something cool. Or else just let it be.
Did you know he was 6-0 in the finals? But also, he lost a lot of first rounders, as many LeBron fans remind me every day. He didn't make the finals as many times, and LeBron did. Did you know that?
Right. Yeah, no, that's extremely true. There's much more nuance to these discussions than it kind of goes back to the titles thing. So the titles thing, it only favors MJ in some contexts, but if we bring up Bill Russell, suddenly titles, don't mean as much, and now we're reaching for other things. So, titles just seem a little overrated to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I also am curious though, because there's 3 superstars in the Nets. I wonder how that's going to play in the hobby, because we've always had these 2 superstar teams, and like you pointed out, we gave credit to Davis and LeBron. Would it be able to sustain a third? And it seems like the spirit of that question was that Kyrie might be the odd man out in this scenario.
Yeah, I could see that. Plus, to the extent that it matters that, like, the collectability of a player is tied to them being the dominant player on the floor, to the extent that matters, the more big-time players that are having to share the ball, the less collectible each one of them becomes. So, to me, it should matter. It might matter, but I don't know. Do investors even watch the games?
Depends on who you're talking about. Are we ready for hour 2?
We are ready for hour 2. So we will be back in 120 seconds for hour 2. See some of my clubhouse guys in here. What's up, Jonas? Carbon, the clubhouse legends. Chrissy Buckets. Oh, yeah. Hello, Shay, host of the new podcast. Enjoyed this week's episode. Happy late birthday again. Let's get Josh in here. Vic, we will be in Wisconsin for at least a day. I think we're going to check out Wisconsin for at least one day. Oh, no, 2, 3. There we go. What are we sipping on tonight?
We're back to truly lemon.
You know the people want to know.
They do. I'm not sure why.
What's up, Jeremy? So, quick plug, we will be on Clubhouse after this. We will be on Clubhouse immediately after this. We didn't even scratch the surface on the number of questions, so there's probably not a likelihood we'll get to all. That we'll get to all of them today. I don't know. Let's mull through a few more and see where we get. I like this one. A Goods Only says, are people still investing in fractional cards? What happens if demand dies in this sector?
People definitely still are, because I get the collectible notifications and that shit sells out every time right away.
So fast.
There's definitely a lot of appeal to people to give, a pretty minimal investment, like $10 a share. Why not? For a lot of guys were saying, like, why not? So throw a few bucks in there and enjoy the ride. If it fails, whatever, you spent $50. If it works, cool. That you had fun owning a piece of a cool card. It's not much downside. The issue that you and I have pointed out is that there's been some issues with comps on some of them, and then so if it's overpriced and you have a bunch of people holding shares of it where it's the price doesn't match the value anymore, that could spell trouble long term if that's not handled properly. And I reached out to Collectible on one card and said they mispriced the card and they fixed it. So I think they're aware that could be an issue. So like they're attempting to correct some of that stuff. And if the demand goes down, it's same thing as regular cards that you own full price of. People are gonna panic sell or look to exit, and so it's not good. In the same way that it wouldn't be good in some cases for full cards.
Yeah, and I suppose if you think about it relative to NFTs, it would strike me as much less risky. If you're just looking for a purely digital, transactional, investment related to sports, man, I would rather have it backed by an actual physical asset than with a track record than have it backed by untested, unproven technology that is in its very early stages and could evolve and change quite a bit in the near future. So I can see the appeal relative to alternatives that provide the same levels of liquidity and frictionless transactions and so forth.
Yeah, the biggest issue with NFT that has been pointed out more recently by Gary and astutely pointed out is that the supply of NFTs is infinite, and there's no physical asset to back the investment. So like people are like, oh, well, it's in the blockchain and you have your own specific serial number and whatever assigned to you. Okay, until they decide to add super legendary and common and not common and add, they could add as many as they want. They've got videos going back for years. They've got infinite content to produce on that front. And when people keep buying it, guess what? They're going to keep making it. They're going to keep making more of it. And they don't care about the secondary market of it as much. They just care about you buying packs and paying them. And so you gotta remember that kind of stuff. And again, if the demand for something like that goes down, that shit is gonna just bottom out. Because what happens when nobody wants something and the value starts to go down? Nobody wants to actually own it. The bottom falls out, and people just start panic selling, and it gets ugly fast.
I like how Real Asset Collector chimes in with yup. It's almost like this discussion was specifically in support of his chosen username. All those in favor of real assets.
He made that account when we started the discussion. He did it real quick.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, next question. From Drake's PC. BGS reslabbing. Much has been made about grade potentially decreasing upon reslab. But is there a possibility that your overall grade or subgrades could increase? For example, if 9.5s can get reduced to 9s, could that potentially increase the values of 9.5s on already low? Oh, two questions. Okay, so the first question is, can grades go up instead of going down? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Second question is, so similarly, if 9.5s, for example, get reduced to a 9, could that potentially increase the value of the 9.5s on already low pop 9.5s?
Is this like a review where Beckett is changing the grade to where they reduce the pop?
I don't know what their policies and practices are on that.
If you're talking about reslab, you like crack it, right? Then it's not being removed from the pop, so no, it wouldn't help you in that case.
Yeah, but in this case, though, so a lot of noise was made this week about a couple of instances where BGS was sent cards for recasing still in the slab. BGS slabs were sent to BGS. BGS removed the cards from the slabs, performed an assessment on the card prior to reslabbing it, which is their policy and the policy of every grading company. It would defy common sense if grading companies would take cards out of slabs and then put them back into a new slab if the grade should be different. So to give an extreme example, suppose that I had a PS, or let's keep it BGS. Suppose I had a BGS 9.5 of a card, and I sent the card to BGS, and then BGS, upon taking the card out of the case, noticed that the card has a huge wrinkle in it that's not visible from dead on, but if you hold it at an angle, you can see that there is a crease, a wrinkle that runs right through the center of the card. BGS cannot then put that card back into a 9.5 slab because that would be an action in bad faith. The card is no longer a 9.5. It never was. It was either misgraded in the first place or something happened to the card that damaged it. And so the situation that people are discussing now is people are being surprised, and in some cases justifiably so, because they don't know how the card got damaged. But cards are being sent to BGS for strictly reholdering, not reassessment. But when BGS takes it out of the slab, they reassess it, they put it into a slab, and then upon reassessment, cards have been docked. In some cases, cards have been docked with full number grade.
That's pretty fucked up. Why is that happening? A reholder is just like, I want a not scratched up, shitty case, fix my shit. And they're regrading them?
They do.
Why?
Well, I think the reason I just gave is the reason why. Because
yeah, but what about the case where I just literally want like a new holder?
The card in that case better be what the grade says it is.
Well, whose fault is that? They're the ones who graded it originally, and the point is that it's been protected and insured in their cases to maintain that grade. Yeah,
so as Card Porn points out, the problem is BGS doesn't currently pay compensation for the lower grade. And in contrast to that, PSA does. So PSA's guarantee policy, which does not apply to the original submitter, okay, that's an important distinction here, but PSA's policy, their guarantee is that if you send back a card to them and they find out that the technical grade of this card should be lower than what the slab label says, and they determined that the cause of the grading discrepancy was due to an error in grading rather than the card being damaged in some other way, such as the case being damaged, they will put the card into a new case with an accurate grade, but they will compensate you for the market value differential. And so I think Cardporn rightly points out that BGS should adopt a similar policy. They also should adopt a similar policy with respect to counterfeits that they slab as well, because PSA guarantees those two.
Sounds like the guarantee is the kind of the big differentiator here that would need to be addressed and resolved. That's rough, especially when like BGS slabs scratch easily.
Yes, they do.
And so, because they're kind of like a softer plastic than PSA, so yikes.
Yeah, and BGS slabs are harder to open as well. So if you wanted, the risk of a card being damaged upon being removed from the case is higher, I think, with BGS cards and PSA cards as well. So that adds another level of just, I don't want to ever take it out. I don't want to have to ever take it out. So I don't know. One of the lessons here, get slab guards. Get slab guards, and then you get extra protection on your card.
And on top of that, get another...
Get a bag for on top of the slab guard, too.
You're going to put those into Ziploc bags and then...
Oh, that's a good idea. Waterproof zippies. Yeah.
Goobers. You guys are goobers.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. The reslabbing thing is tricky because there's 2 points of view that have to be considered. There's the point of view of the person who is submitting their card for reslabbing and they get docked a grade. That sucks. And there should be a way to take care of that person. What cannot happen is that BGS or any grading company puts the card back into a new holder that has a grade that doesn't reflect its technical condition, because then the person getting screwed over is the future buyer of the card, who's buying a card inside of a slab that isn't the condition that the slab says it is. So a guarantee is the way to solve this issue. BGS would be wise to adopt PSAs.
I saw a lot of posts where the card was upside down.
Yeah, I've seen those as well.
What happened? It looks normal to me. Like from the card's perspective, he's fine. The card doesn't know that he's upside down, but so like me, I can see myself normally. You guys think I'm upside down. I don't. You're upside down, Chris. You're the one that's fucked up.
All right, well, hold on.
Heyo.
You do the rest of the show like that.
That looks way too normal because I'm actually holding my phone upside down. You rotated it.
We are standing in uniformity with Beckett's quality control department.
I'm standing on the ceiling. I don't know about you.
This is a showing of solidarity for every card that ever got slabbed upside down.
If you guys are sending me sad faces, they look like smiles to me. So.
Now we're all as drunk as Josh is.
Oh, I'm only on my third. Calm down. I'm building a tolerance over these weeks. Every Friday I get a little bit stronger.
Good.
I can do the ABCs backwards if you really pressured me.
I have no doubt about that.
All right, what else you got?
Staying on BGS for a second, Sierra, California card collector, asks, what is the likelihood that BGS is acquired in the next year? And what are your thoughts about what that would mean for the hobby? It seems to me there's so much untapped potential in the brand.
I'm not sure how likely it is because I feel like they would have been bought by now, Like there's something going on there where whoever's current ownership maybe doesn't want to give it up for whatever reason because they've probably been asked about it several times by now. So I don't want to say like for sure it's going to happen or that it's likely because I feel like it would have already. There's some reason behind it. I don't know. I don't know if that would be good. I guess it obviously depends on who buys it, but it would definitely be good to introduce more competition. Let me say that. I think more competition for PSA is a good thing, and keeping everyone, we don't want a monopoly to where, competition is good for business, for capitalism. It keeps things evolving and innovating and growing. Not even if PSA, even if they weren't intentionally not innovating, if they had a monopoly, it just sort of happens. Or it's like when you have a 50-point lead in a game, you just sort of like naturally stop trying as hard. So I think that would be good if done properly, bought by the right people.
Yeah, and maybe honestly, there's just not a lot of investment capital that is aware of the opportunity. I think that could be the case here as well. Although, if I understand it correctly, BGS is basically owned by venture capital right now. It's owned by a company that owns companies. And they're probably seeing money come in hand over fist right now.
Yeah.
So they're probably thinking there's nothing wrong. Weird.
Yeah, just keep grading cards at whatever pace you're going. Who cares about the backlog?
So I don't know if this problem is solvable. Who wants to sell a company that's making money hand over fist? So I don't know. People forget, but PSA PSA as Branch Collectors Universe was a public company. I think it would have been a very different scenario trying to convince private owners to sell it. Matter of fact, go try and convince Nat and Steve Cohen and everybody to sell PSA and let me know how that works.
I offered them a billion and they said no. So whatever.
Those guys are not. Those guys have their eyes set on 10 billion, 100 billion.
Right.
That's what they're
It's like,
thinking about.
It's like buying a card. You buy a card for $85. You're not going to sell it for 100 right away, right? If you believe in it, you're going to wait till it's 200.
Right. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. It's actually incumbent upon the employees of BGS, especially people who are in positions of leadership and power, to communicate to the ownership structure just how many opportunities they are missing right now. That needs to happen. Maybe if somebody with knowledge and influence in that company intervened and explained the situation, the dilemma, things could get turned around. But as Carbon always says on Clubhouse, be careful what you wish for, because it could get worse, guys. BGS could be sold to worse owners.
I also don't necessarily think there's a lot of people and groups lining up to buy BGS. I mean, if you think about it, it's a big undertaking to buy a grading company at this point. It's very stressful. It's a lot of demand. It's a lot of things you have to go in and fix and scale, and it's just not an easy task. And I'm not sure that there's a line of people willing to overpay and take on something like that right now.
Yeah, nobody has laid out the blueprint for how to scale up a grading company.
And overpaying for things in the business world is not a thing. I promise you. I don't know where we get the sense that like there's this huge, massive group of people willing to overpay 10x for your PSA 10 card because it's just like people just don't overpay for stuff, especially in business.
Unless it's Dapper Labs.
Go to the next fucking question.
This is good. This is good. This is more of a statement than a question, a small story. Booze Cards says, I'm a born-again collector who spent the entire quarantine educating myself on the hobby. I started on Google. I spent months frustrated that I didn't have a network to ask questions to. It took me 6 months of spinning my wheels, but I finally went to my LCS and approached an employee. I put $20 on the table and acknowledged that his time was valuable, and I asked for 5 minutes of advice. I told him I love sports, I want to be a part of the hobby, but I just don't know how to get started. He gave me my $20 back. He said, those who want to be in the community, oops, I typed something wrong. Damn, I was
Damn it.
so
Come on, you got me going. Let's go.
He said those who want to be in the hobby should be in the community. He introduced me to a colleague who took me to a card show and answered my questions. By February, I had 5 contacts, go-to podcasts, and the Card Ladder app.
That
Do you have thoughts and advice for new collectors on the importance of building personal relationships?
was the best sentence, soliloquy thing you ever did. That was amazing. I love that.
Thank you, Booze Cards, for
I
that.
just, I'm personally excited that it wasn't a story of someone flipping PSA 10 base cards and getting rich, and
And I
just, you
sold
know,
50 John Morant PSA 10s.
and then I got so rich that yeah. No, that's great. The reason I like this story is not everybody is able to just like make a killing in sports cards right away. Like some people are taking the slower approach, and I think that's okay. I've often said you shouldn't buy anything for a few months at least. You study the market, which it sounds like this person did, and then they did the next logical decision, which is buy card. No, I'm just kidding. Which is get into the community, network, meet contacts. I think that's the most important thing you can do. I think getting to know the people in the community and the hobby and understand what other people are collecting, figure out what things are collectible based on what sort of market exists for certain players. Like, is there a big collectible market for Luka or Ken Griffey or LeBron or whatever? Like, are there people that out there that actually collect these things? And if there's a strong collector base, you know that it's going to be a strong financial market as well. So you only know that through research, networking, meeting different people. So I think that's great. I like the thought process behind that whole topic, whatever.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I have one worry about new people, and that's what type of content are they getting exposed to as their first impression? Because first impressions really matter.
Right.
And if their first impression is some mind-numbing top 5 cards going up crap, they're not going to recognize this hobby, and they're not going to recognize it from their childhood, or they're not. What is this? Is top 5 cards going up, and it's all these cards that were 5 cents when I was collecting. This doesn't make any sense. So, as a community, I think one of the most important things we can do is advise people on content to consume, because content ultimately makes up a big part of everybody's hobby experience these days. We all listen to new podcasts, we go on social media, and there's a lot of crap out there that can really give people a bad and misleading first impression. So that's the one thing I worry about. That's the advice I have for Boo. Your story is great, dude. The thing I add is that thoughts and advice for new collectors on building relationships. Steer people away from content that is not representative of why we love the hobby.
I posted a story this week about how some of the most successful hobbyists, collectors, investors that I know are ones that don't post at all, or don't create any content, or hype up their cards, or get involved in sort of the pump and dump or whatever, like kind of skeezy kind of underbelly of the hobby that we know. And the reason I point that out is just what you said. Like, they are moving quietly, and they're moving efficiently, and they're studying the markets from afar, and they're using their intelligence and their instincts, and not necessarily just following the crowd. There's all these different things play into it, but those types of people are definitely not following content that you're describing. So to that I would say, if you're going to consume content and take advice from someone in a market, any market, not even just sports cards, try to find someone that doesn't have financial incentive tied to you following their picks. Right? Follow people's actions, not their words. Figure out what people are doing for real with their actual money and what they have behind it, and follow something like that. Try to find someone a little bit quieter, maybe a little bit more humble in their approach. So these are just some things to look out for.
Yeah, and those people, they're not the loudest, they're not right in your face. You have to find them.
Yes.
I think a word that maybe sums this up is self-reliance. when we came back into the hobby 5 years ago, we had no choice but to be self-reliant. There was no content. There was nobody guiding the flock. There was simply message boards, and you had to do your own homework. You had to do your own research. You had to make your own decisions about what you like to collect and why you like to collect it. There was a reasonable amount of self-reliance. You had to be self-reliant. And now there's strong temptations pushing us away from self-reliance in the hobby and pushing us towards just joining the flock, joining the herd. And so it's, in a certain sense, it's more difficult nowadays to stay, to do what ultimately is going to be in your best interest collecting long term, which is developing your own thought processes and coming up with your own approaches. So I would just preach self-reliance. There are no shortcuts in this hobby. Ask people who bought the Fleer Jordans 2 months ago.
Dude, I could come up with a pretty decent case study for if you followed the masses or followed the general consensus through content and you bought the cards at the dates that the videos were published, and how your portfolio would look today, and you'd be fucking crushed. You would have bought Trae Young cards 4 months ago. You would have bought Miles Turner 2 years. You'd have been crushed.
Yeah, it's so true.
If we're keeping score that way, it's like, and this is why you and I just aren't going to give picks. You're not going to be able to go back and find a log of me telling you to go buy freaking, I don't know, Alonzo Trier 3 years ago. It's not going to happen.
No, it's definitely not. Hold on. I'm supplementing what you just said. Let me just get one more on here.
You and your data. God damn it, your facts. I can't believe you. How dare you, sir?
These stupid facts. Okay.
Let me guess, the chart. Oh, God, I knew it.
All right. So this first middle finger graph in May of last year is Mike Trout. Okay.
That's
Boom.
Project 2020.
Project 2020, Ermsey, Mike Trout. Thank you. The second middle finger graph is Kylian Mbappe, Prism Base PSA 10. And this third middle finger graph is the Charizard PSA 8, 1999 Pokemon Unlimited base set. And then there are other middle finger graphs that fill in after this. You can just put the Jordan Fleer, the LeBron Chrome, the Kobe Chrome, Kobe Topps paper base. They just go on and on. It's just, guys, and you know what? I bet there's a middle finger that goes right here and goes right here. Now it's a full hand. It's not even middle finger.
Put your hand on the screen, Chris.
If you're gonna do hand, you should do slab. Like, every time,
Show a slab?
Next time you show a card on the screen, put the slab up next to it.
Yeah, you Kawhi Leonard motherfucker.
All right. So there you go.
Next question.
Next question is,
I'm making Christina laugh tonight. This is great.
this comes from Drake. Drake's PC. How would Josh rank the 2004 through 2009 Topps Chrome LeBron refractors from most favorite to least favorite? So no rookie, but all the other Topps Chrome LeBron refractors, 04 through 09. How do you rank them? And I was looking to make sure we had them in card line. We have all of them except for the 07.
Can you go backwards? Okay, so 05 is last place.
Okay, let me show a picture of it as you talk about it.
05 is last place.
Okay, so 05 is last.
You said 09, 08.
This is the 05.
Show me the 08. 08 is first for me because of the chalk toss. 08's first. 05 is last. Let me go for 07 is second. No, 06 is second. 06 is second. Yep, that one's nice. 06 is second. 07 is third. I love that. I love 07.
Yeah.
I love 07. That's the one where he's like, yep, that one's the next. And then it's going to be 04.
That's like what Panini tried to do with this year's 2020 Prism.
If he's normal sized.
Mm.
04 is next. Some people might want to put 04 higher, but the like off centering on the back always bothered me. They're just horribly off centered on the back, all of them.
Mm.
Then next I'll go for 09. I mean, dude, they're all so good. It sucks that I have to put 09 second to last, and then 05.
That was 09. And back to 05. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 05.
It's just the easiest to make last for me.
Sure. Yeah. There you go, Drake. There you
That is
go.
one biased heavy ranking system because I own the 08 and 06.
It's all right. We should buy what we like, shouldn't we?
Yeah, it's like you asked me my favorite cards. It's all the cards I own. You know?
Maybe your favorite card isn't some other guy's PC?
Well, I mean, Nat basically has my PC plus other stuff, so it's
True.
there's like 3 cards that I own that he doesn't. I don't even know if there's that many anymore. He probably bought all the ones that I have, and he's like, God damn it.
No need to look at Josh's Flickr anymore, guys.
It's like, do you want to look at my PC in a higher grade? Go look at Nat's PC. Like, you want the PSA 10 version of everything and 9.5s? Yeah, he's got those. You don't like my patch? Go look at a better patch and Nat's Flickr. Asshole.
Oh, that's funny. This is a
Not
very
really.
specific question. Collectibles Cards Clutter says, why do people always say put a penny sleeve over chromium cards before closing a one-touch? The last time I checked, penny sleeves are plastic as well. Why is a card less likely to stick to a penny sleeve than a one-touch?
Well, the penny sleeve is like soft, right? It's like a softer material, and the one touch is like a hard plastic surface. Is there anything more? I don't think there's anything more to that than that.
I don't know. Maybe if Carvin's still in the chat, maybe he can supply some science. But
I was reading one time that the Hall of Fame, the preservation company that works for the Hall of Fame has some like science behind the actual materials you should be using to preserve things more than like 100 years, and it was like not the materials used in penny sleeves or one touches or graded slabs. I thought that it was. I had to go dig that up, but like they're using like a different like softer material, softer plastic. But I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so
that could be a great. God, as if we need more grading companies.
it's just another layer for you to put around your cards.
I'll take that excuse. Okay, so let me acknowledge this question, although I don't think that either of us have much to say on it, but it's just nice to read a question sometimes. This comes from Skol Cards, SKOL Cards. Does Acuna deserve to be priced the same as Soto and Tatis? Toto and Tatis? Or will BGS ever catch back up to PSA? 3 to 10 year projections. So I don't know if Josh and I have a lot of opinions on the relationship between Acuna, Soto, and Tatis cards, but somebody out there is thinking about it, wanted to throw it out there.
Isn't Acuna priced similar to those other guys? I don't even know.
I don't know, and I wouldn't want to guess. I'd want to look it up. But I'll tell you this, Acuna is setting record highs every night.
Dude, Acuna, he's the hottest player on the market right now.
Yeah, Acuna is red hot right now.
And Tatis, isn't Tatis younger than Acuna? I would think that.
Oh,
Acuna, I would think that. God, we are just not up to date on the baseball.
Nope, we are out of our depth on baseball. But somebody,
Soto has a better slugging percentage, and I'm just whatever. I don't know shit.
what's his on base percentage? How many stolen bases does he have?
What's his WAR?
All right. What do I want to go to next? Linguist Sports Cards wants to know the 17-game NFL season. Does adding an extra game change anything in a meaningful way?
Yeah, it kind of diminishes the value of like 1,000-yard seasons. Like there's gonna be more 1,000-yard seasons, so it'll kind of like a 1,000-yard season to me, especially for skill position players, has a lot of weight for the hobby because it's like a statistical barrier that you want to cross to be relevant for a receiver or running back, and especially in fantasy and I think a little bit in sports cards. So it's going to be easier to get to that number, and so I think it's going to have less value.
That I hate when things like this happen. And
No, me too.
They make statistical comparisons when you measure them in absolutes rather than averages. It now you have to draw a line. Was the season pre or post 2021?
Yeah, I think
That's so annoying.
there's something really beautiful about a 16-game season and how it really did draw this amazing organic line at 1,000 yards, and then also like 4,000 yards for passing, and it just really worked out nicely. And maybe that's just us building that over time and drawing these lines. And baseball 300 looks so nice, and basketball 20 points per game looks nice. Like all these different things. Where if they made the games 50 minutes instead of 48, it's going to throw off some of these like really nice looking numbers. And yeah, it sucks. It's kind of annoying. It's like it's all money driven, but there's so much more to the game than money for us as fans. It's like, as a fan, also, are we all just like, I know we're not ignoring it, but like teams are going to have more home games than other teams. Like, what the fuck?
I was just about to say, so baseball's 162, basketball's 82. I'd be willing to bet that hockey isn't even numbered. Football, just 17.
It seems like it's just a greedy. The best idea I heard was from Nick Wright, who's one of my favorite media guys, just because he's a LeBron guy. But
why do you like Nick Wright so much?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious why I like Nick Wright. But he's my favorite. He's my favorite Instagram, Twitter follow when LeBron's winning. He gloats like a motherfucker. He had a good idea that was like they should keep the 8-8, and then the 17th game should be wedged in the middle of the season, and it's all international games on a neutral field, so they can expand their international market, and they get an extra bye week around that. So like they basically take a break in the middle of the season. All these teams go play international games in the middle of the year. They all get bye weeks around it, and then they continue the rest of the second half of the season. I thought that was a pretty good idea.
That'd be cool. Be like a halftime of the season, right?
And they all just like, team plays in freaking Japan, London, Mexico, whatever, and they just like grow their international base that way. Keeps it fair where they still have 8-8. Seems like a lot of wins there, but dude, Shannon Sharp and Nick Wright, just those guys could never be on the same panel because there'd be nothing. The whole point of those shows is that they scream at each other, and those guys would just be like, "Yep, LeBron, definitely the best. Yep."
Oh, the dynamic between Shannon and Skip is so weird these days. Skip is coming around to LeBron.
What did you just say?
Skip, he's coming around to LeBron.
No, what are you talking about? That dude shits on LeBron every day.
Not like he used to. Now
I watched him.
Now
Go
he
ahead.
shits on the young guys, and
Really?
yeah, and he's more pivoting towards a favorable LeBron stance.
Yeah, it's better for me to hate him, so I need him to not do that.
Well, I can't stand Skip.
Dude, go watch. YouTube's been recommending me to watch his old stuff with when he was with Stephen A. Dude, he would just like no holds barred, just go at LeBron. Like it was like you know how they're like, oh, it's not like it used to be. That dude would just fucking go ham against LeBron. I was watching some of those videos. He basically is literally saying like LeBron is terrible. It's so crazy. He's like, oh, he runs away from the game. He tries to avoid the free throw line. He's terrible. He's overrated. And Stephen A is just like, what in the world is happening right now?
Stephen A has been able to carve out a place where he doesn't have to, tie his brand to any one player. He can speak highly and lowly of everybody.
Yeah, because he's well, his thing is like, I talked to CP3 last night. We're homies, and me and Chris, we decided that he's happy right now. This is the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Nick and Skip and everybody wish they could be Stephen A, where they could just, you don't have to be tied to anybody. You can have opinions, and people aren't expecting you and won't turn on you if you don't support a certain player. Stephen A he's up here. The rest of these guys, not so much.
I feel like we're the Stephen A of content.
Yeah. Yes. Let's go. People would be pissed if we favored anybody too much, I think. That's our problem.
Yeah, I mean, I can't avoid it. I like LeBron. I don't like Trae Young and Kevin Durant. What are you going to do?
I like how Kevin Durant has crept into that sentence.
That guy annoys the shit out of me recently.
Let's go.
Freaking, he just annoyed me, man. When that whole Rappaport thing came out, I was kind of like, see, I told you guys, this guy's a crazy man.
Oh, how does this make you feel?
Stupid. He's just so annoying looking. I think it's, you know what it is, man?
Sensitive? There we go.
Show me a picture of him with the beanie. He's been wearing the beanie lately, and I'm just like, what are you, a hipster now? Come on, man.
Dude, he's cool, man. He's so cool. I'm scrolling for a beanie shot.
Come on, there's tons of them. He's got the beanie. Every video I've seen now, he's got the beanie.
Oh, I know. I've seen him too. Let me see. Kevin Durant injured. Maybe this will bring up pictures of him on the sideline or something. Nope.
Okay, fine. All right, smart guy. Give me your opinion on Kevin Durant, Mr. Hotshot here. Come on.
Well, here's what I do first.
No. I don't want data. I don't want graph.
It was ESPN page. And this season, he is averaging 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, and a play first rating of 26. But that's over a small sample. It looks like he's played 22 games. So
Dude, wow.
He's shooting 45% from 3, 88% free throws, 54% from the field, averaging 4 turnovers, which would be nice for that to come down a little bit. But
he's got monster numbers.
He's having a very, very good year, even by his standard.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's a fantastic basketball player. That's not what I'm asking you.
What I think about him personally?
Sure.
While I find it relatable that there's a celebrity who just gets pissed off and lets things bother them, because who wouldn't? Having to read thousands of tweets a day and listen to – you can't even turn on your sports radio anymore. You can't watch ESPN without hearing somebody say something about you. While most athletes admirably rise above that, he does not. He is very sensitive, very susceptible to what gets said about him. But in fairness, would I be able to be better? No, probably. but
I'd probably be worse than him.
Yeah, right, I would probably be worse. But with that being said, so I gave him a fair shake on that front. But now, there's 18, 19-year-olds in the NBA, I don't know about 18-year-olds. There's 19 and 20-year-olds in the NBA who just deal with the pressure and the social media and the criticisms in unbelievably mature ways. It's not so different from what I remember when I went back to college, because I was a non-traditional student. When I went back to college, I was 24. I was in classrooms with 18 and 19-year-olds. Hell, in some cases, 17-year-olds, kids from the high school level who were advanced. And they were all more mature than me for the most part. And so that must be what Kevin Durant feels like being in the NBA.
Dude, have you heard a single peep out of Zion?
No. I just see Zion smile, play extremely hard. Looks like somebody just threw a bucket of water on him. I mean, he's just absolutely drenched. Him and
Isn't that crazy though?
Get sweaty.
He has like zero. I don't even know what his voice sounds like.
Dude, these new kids, man, to the league, they are impressive. You know,
Zion
people
is
think
very humble and polite. Like,
very
when he
humble, very
speaks, like,
polite.
in interviews.
very humble,
Yeah.
and polite.
Okay.
People
Yeah.
think you get millions of dollars and all of a sudden you don't have problems anymore. I believe it was the great philosopher Notorious B.I.G. who said, "More money, more problems."
Too many letters. You added too many letters to that. Mo money, mo problems.
Mo money, mo problems is the precise verbiage. These kids are extremely impressive, man.
Agreed.
Kevin Durant could do well to take a page from their book.
They all learned from the early 2000s guys who had a bunch of financial struggles, and there's all those articles about like Antoine Walker and guys who blew all their money and stuff. And I feel like the current generation has learned from some of the mistakes of those guys, and not only gotten a hold of things financially, but also like the whole package, right? Like you said, they're better in the media, they're better handling situations and handling negativity thrown at them. So I think you're right, man. A lot of those young guys are extremely. Dude, Luka, I think he's doing a great job. Giannis, dude, could you handle things any better than Giannis right now? That guy's like,
Probably
he's
not.
basically his entire career is being questioned because of a couple playoff series, and he's a two-time MVP and like all-time leader in PER for one season. Stupid.
Here we go. Just for you. Boom.
Is that pink?
That's the pink paint. You didn't mean to break up your flow, man.
You know what I'm saying though? Like Giannis, Luka, Zion, these guys are just like. I told you I was watching Last Chance U on Netflix, and every one of those kids is just like a total nightmare for the coaches. It's like, God, the coach can't get him to go to practice. He can't get him to. It's just everything's just a disaster. And all the pros in the NBA and NFL and stuff, that's like, God, you don't have any of those concerns. Those guys have like, they literally like hire PR people to help them manage their own personal image, and it's just it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yep, extremely impressive.
Carvin points out that the NBA has been like training these kids when they come in. I think that's true. It's pretty obvious that they're getting like actual training from NBA representatives.
I'm sure they are. Also, though, these are just impressive human beings. They're freak athletes, but there's more to them than that. There's a lot more to them than that. It takes a special personality and athletic human being to become a professional athlete in one of the major sports. It's more than just skill and God-given talent. It takes work ethic. It takes personality, interpersonal skills. These guys are very impressive people.
Yeah, I think not enough discussion goes on about what we're talking about right now for these guys, and it's just the media kind of puts it all in a negative light of what their failures are and their shortcomings, and they're building a wall against them in the playoffs type crap. And it's like, dude, these are some of the most impressive individual humans on the planet, not only physically, like you said, mentally. they're leaders in their communities. They're doing charity work. They're building schools. These are just impressive humans, and they're a great benefit to society, I think, overall. And not enough is talked about that.
Except for Kevin Durant.
I have to go to the bathroom. Kevin Durant. Guys,
So look, we're wrapping up hour 2 here. If you don't have Clubhouse yet, get it. Get Clubhouse soon, because pretty soon that app will run its course. I'm afraid. I hope not, but that app may run its course soon. Christina, what was that thing that was said the other day that cards are like dollar bills? What George Washington is to a dollar bill? Players are to cardboard. There you go. Oh, okay, hold on. I may have a surprise waiting for Josh when he gets back. Let's see here. All right, I got it. I got you, Seth. So when Josh gets back, we're going to be heading over to Clubhouse, I think, as we wrap up hour 2 here. Does anybody want to throw something into the ether really quick? Sorry to all the questions we didn't get to. This week, I don't know what this means, but this week we got like a buttload of questions.
Means we're in the second inning.
Maybe we went back to the first inning.
What do you got for me? Is this a picture of Kevin Durant? Oh, look at this guy.
All right. Courtesy of South. So people noticed that Kevin Durant had some awkward pants on. I didn't know what these pants were. But this astute Twitter user, Leskip, noticed that these are women's yoga pants that he was wearing.
Hey, I'm fully aware that LeBron dresses like a goober on a lot of nights, so I can't hate too much on that.
You know?
We were joking the other night, you and me, on DMs about how oddly some of these guys dress, and it's like, where's the guy who just wears, shorts and a hoodie or something? Where's that guy?
Hold on. You think you have something to complain about, but at least he doesn't dress like this.
Style back then, though. Those
But-
suits were the style.
But I think he still dresses like this, though.
Dude, I'm watching The Last Dance. I told you for like the 5th time. I actually bought that cologne. I'm a sucker. I bought that cologne when I was a kid.
I had that cologne as well.
It probably smelled horrible. I'm watching The Last Dance, and every single player wears giant suits. That was just the thing.
Yep. Yes, they do.
You know what? The Last Dance makes me like MJ so much more every time I watch it, because he just is who he is. He's not trying to pretend, and he's not trying to make burner accounts and
That we know of.
he doesn't even have social media, dude.
Yeah, but doesn't that raise as many questions as it answers?
No, it means that he doesn't want to get involved in that world, and he's already got enough to worry about. Social media just adds another layer of stress and pain to your life, especially for an athlete.
It does. And yet, who can resist the siren call of arguing with people on Facebook?
I can.
The best scene was one of my favorite scenes, not the best. One of my favorite scenes is when they have a tea time, and him and Scotty and Harper are leaving practice, and Jordan's just like, no, don't talk to anyone. Come on, let's go. And he gets on the bus, and then Scotty just like can't help himself, and he stops and starts to answer the questions, and Jordan's blaring the horn on him. He's like, get on the bus, come on. That's such a great doc. I love documentaries so much.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to do a sports documentary well, and they did a good job on that one.
Oh, dude, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they did a good job on that one.
Ready? We ready for what's it called?
the after party on Clubhouse.
Yes, it's a thing, right?
Oh, look, once is an anecdote, 2 times is a trend, and this is the second go round. So,
All right, see you over there.
yeah, we'll be on Clubhouse in 5 minutes.
Minutes.
We'll be over there momentarily. So don't freak out if we're not on there super quick. Just load up the app. Don't go into another room. Just wait, because the room is... All right.
I'll be on there in 30 seconds. Chris is the one that's going to take... You got to take a shit or something?
Yeah, it's my post-crossover deuce.
Oh,
All right, look, I'll start the room then. I'll let people fill into the room and stuff. The room will start in 30 seconds, but the content won't start for a few minutes. All right,
All
guys.
right, see.